I see you got your shirt, Eddie.
I got my shirt. I love it. I love it, man. It is absolutely beautiful. Where I got to turn. You'll see it. That's what I got. Change screen.
There it is.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely love it. I love it. Love it. Thank you, Scott, and everybody else. It took me a while just to coordinate my mind into how to get it done, but it's beautiful work. Very beautiful work. If you haven't done it, folks, go to our homepage and look it up. Get you one done, and it's your shirt you get done.
Yep.
It's not you're picking something out of a catalog. It's going to be our artwork going onto your product, and it's absolutely flawless, beautiful. When it came in last night, my wife threw her on a chair. She says, "Junk mail or something like that, or spam mail." I said, "No, that's not spam mail." You know, because after we were in business for 25 years, we still get samples of stuff. People still send stuff to us to dry and all.
Mm-hmm.
It's an automatic one-touch thing. Touch it, look at it, and drop it in the can. Or if it's worthy in a shop, I give it to my apprentice. And he loves it. He says, "Hey, what did we get this week?"
Good deal.
Because he's learning what it's about. Hey, I don't know if he's in yet. I see that the participants are only like 30 participants right now. If you haven't seen Duxbury's latest piece on his Dux jig, you have to see it. I can't move it from one program to show it to you tonight. It's absolutely gorgeous. It was done on his Dux jig, which means it was done on a conventional lathe. It's a swirl pattern, and it is one beautiful piece of work. I saw that, and there was another guy that posted one this week, and I saw it on Facebook, and I'm sure I saw it on our Facebook page of a soccer ball in a soccer ball in a soccer ball in a soccer ball in a soccer ball that went on and on and on and on and on, and they went from about this big to about and all done nicely, really nicely segmented piece. And I'm talking a piece of art. So I've seen some good work popping out this week, and but I may not have seen all of your work. I said the word Duxbury, and the Duxbury is crawling up from behind right now. He's got something to show. But Tim, do you have a sample of that piece that you showed me?
Yeah, you want to see it?
I want to see. Hold on, I want to see it, Doug. Hold on.
Can you highlight them? All right.
Well, that's sweet.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
That's on 10 center.
Awesome.
Oh
On
my
a conventional lathe, 10 centers.
I can turn this one first.
Right.
And these are tangent to it. And the centers are around here. It's first off, when I started this thing, this Dux chuck was to make bottle toppers and bangles and little things, a ½ inch off center. This is 2 1/4 inch off center. The center of this piece is up here. So this is 2 1/4 inch off center. So I'll show pictures of it when you got a chance, but it's a long way off. I got a better way of doing it too now, but
My God.
also it's not for the faint of heart. This thing is instead of this thing going around like this, it's going around like this, okay? When you stick a tool in there and it comes by like this, you better know what you're doing, because you get carried. You better hope the tool rest breaks or the tool breaks, or because you're the next thing.
How fast were you actually going?
What?
How fast were you actually going, Jim?
I probably go around 800 RPM or so. I tried to speed it up so I could, like on this end one, you could see from here to here. But that's part of the circle, you're only seeing this much wood when it comes around.
Yeah, right.
So it's it's not a real nice cut. It can be done, but that's,
That's beautiful.
I got a better one. I'll show a better one next week.
That's very cool.
That's Jim,
Absolutely
always
awesome.
raising the bar.
Anyway,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's gorgeous, Jim.
thank you.
And scary as heck.
Wow.
On a conventional lathe and a shop-made jig. That's, you point out those two parts.
Yeah, right.
Conventional lathe, shop-made jig, and a ton of talent. That's all.
Absolutely.
You surprised.
Uh,
I'll do a screen share later. I can show it on the lathe.
All right, that's good, but boy, I tell you, Jim, that made my week.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
I got another one. I don't know whether I showed this before or not. Did I? No, this is the second one. I made another one like this. This is made out of two pieces that are sandwiched together this way. So you end up with a color on the one side.
And fade. That hurts my brain. They fade.
That is what.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
it's like white to one side.
I love that contrast.
Anyway, that's 2, 4, 5 centers.
That's beyond my capabilities.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I demo this thing, and I'll tell you, I had the last time I demoed it, the only one that broke their piece was the instructor. When you think you're smart and you know what you're doing, you bust it every time. But the turn on the one side, you've got the other whole side holding it together. But when you turn the other side, only the ribs on the other side are holding that thing together. So you gotta start here and you work your way out. And again, when you work your way out, when you go to turn the waist out of the center of one of these things, this damn camera knows when to quit. When you go to turn the center out of the waist, you start in the middle of the waist, and you take that center out, and then you work your way toward this ring. Because if you start cutting against this ring, you could bust the whole thing out. So you start in the middle here, and you cut that ring, and then you work your way like a 30-second at a time towards the ring sides. But that's the other one. Anyway,
Very cool.
I have one other one.
Very cool.
There's always another one. I've been busy. I wasn't here last week. This is the other one that's similar.
Mm-hmm.
And this is red oak with a disease or something. I don't know what it does. But anyway, it's a wall hanging. It would hang like that.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
The thing, if I had an 80-inch face plate, I could do some real work. But the distance between here and here has to be 20 inches, you know. So all of a sudden, if this comes around and wham, you know, you got to move your center somewhere because you're not going to do this. But anyway, I need a big face plate. No, I'm gonna stick to little stuff because big face plates, you got to lift big stuff, and I'm tired of lifting big stuff. Anyway, that was 2 weeks.
Hey, Jim. I was just thinking about what you showed that looked like that shell there. Now you said that it spins around, you know, and you're only catching it as it's coming, you know, towards, you know, where your gouge is. Now, you just made me think about it. Now, what if you put that on some kind of a faceplate, you know, in the back, so that part wouldn't, it would look different as it's spinning.
No, it doesn't.
Pardon?
I got one just like it. In fact, you're ahead of me. I got one half done that's 8-inch, and I'll tell you that's even worse because that's going around at 3.5 inches off center, and it's not. I made a different kind of chuck, but I almost don't want to show that chuck because you could really get hurt doing this stuff. That thing's coming around like this, and
Yeah, it's got to.
really, if you get in there the wrong way, you better hope the tool rest breaks or the tool, because you're the next thing. And it's not a nice cut. It's not like turning. It's wham, wham, wham. You know, it just tears it out. But anyway, I use the first cut on each one of these. I cut the center. I cut that center. Then each one of these, I have a line where it's going to cut, and I put my parting tool and I cut with the parting tool, and I make sure I'm coming around because I'm way up above this. I'm coming around tangent to that perfect, so I can make my final adjustment on that parting tool, and then I cut this V to that whatever I end up with that parting tool. And the end of each one of these, like this would be 0. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 9 on here, but you index it. It's on the same center here, but the whole thing is off center 2.5 inches. So you index it this way on the off center tenon. I'll show a picture of it.
Yeah, you've knocked my hat off, that's for sure.
You got me off balance here. I have to get my files in order.
Thank you.
You really need to quit showing me stuff like that.
Anyway, this other one is really fun, and you can do it.
That's why I asked him questions too. I mean, you just got me thinking. I mean, boom, boom, boom.
Too complex for my simple mind.
Well, just don't get hurt doing it, okay? Please. Speaking of getting hurt, I've often said when you teach, you're in somebody else's studio or you're in somebody else's folk school or whatever, and you don't know what that equipment's going to do. You don't even know it's bolted together, okay? Last weekend I was teaching, and I'll tell you, I had a big commercial place, and they don't let the students use the equipment, the woodworking equipment, so I have to do that. And I was using a bandsaw, big bandsaw, gorgeous piece of equipment. And first I checked the blades on there, and it's running and whatever else, and everything's tensioned, and it looks like it's going to be nice. And I'm cutting, we're making ducks checks, and they got their checks all cut, they're turned, and I have to cut the expansion slot through the middle of it. So I cut about 6 of them, and on the 7th one, as I'm going through, the bearing came off the damn thing, flew down, hit the blade, went over my shoulder.
Holy cow.
I'm telling you, I must have, probably I pushed a little to that side and it caught the bearing, and the bearing wasn't screwed on tight. Unscrewed the bolt, came down, hit the blade, and went over my shoulder. But man, when you're using somebody else, especially a table saw, man, the last guy that used that table saw, you come up to use the crosscut gauge, and on yours at home, you just pick it up and you cut a piece off nice and square. And the last guy that used that table saw was doing something. He put it back to about square, and he didn't tighten the handle. When you get halfway through the cut, that darn thing turns. And I'll tell you, you got to learn to turn your saw off with your knee. You never look under the saw to turn it off. You turn it off with your knee. And you just freeze and bump it with your knee and hope that nothing happens. But anyway, that's my safety story. I couldn't believe it. I had to tell that. It's happened to me many times. In fact, I taught at a senior center, and God, you come out of there a nervous wreck. I'm telling you, that's, if you could teach at a senior center, they take the blade guard out of the table saw and use it. Instead of bolting it back in, they set it in the slot. So if you don't know, I mean, you could get killed with that damn thing. You don't know that.
I tell you, I use my bandsaw a lot, and those bearing screws get loose just from regular use. I've taken to checking mine all the time now. So it's, the blade's wobbling and you're like, what the heck's going on? And you just turn everything off and check all the screws are loose,
Oh, boy.
It's just regular. I mean, it's an older bandsaw I bought used, 15, 20 years ago, but it's a real solid performer. I just have to check it, but you never know. It doesn't hurt to check those things,
No, I've never had it, never seen it happen, but I'll remember that next time. You betcha I check it. That thing flew clear across the shop. So anyway,
Cut you off, but so
that's me for
demo here at the top of the hour.
Wait,
we
you're-
have-
Audio's
muted.
off.
Can't hear you, Dane.
and you're
Your audio's way low, Dane.
A minute ago, there were two Danes up there.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
twice the trouble we normally have.
No, I'm on there twice. It's just.
There you are.
I'm having- Here we
But you're
go.
laying down. There,
No, he's back to regular now.
There we go.
If there's a
All right,
regular.
so we have our demo coming from the mother country of England. So we got Wayne Clasper
Scotland.
on tap tonight. So atypical for when we have our demonstrators from overseas. I always want to get them on the top of the hour, so they can get through their demo at a fairly decent hour for them, even though it's going to be past midnight for them. So it's going to be Wayne Clasper on tap here. It's going to be Wayne's demo. If there's any questions or comments, let's hold them to the end of the demo unless Wayne solicits participation from the crowd here. So in the meantime, I am going to mute everybody. Wayne, I will need you to unmute yourself. So I'm
Yep.
muting everybody now.
Dane, you're
you
muted.
muted yourself.
You should be good to go now, Wayne.
That's grand. Okay.
Yep.
Right then. Good evening, everyone. Here's me the second time tonight. Am I on full screen or still on gallery view?
Full
Let
screen.
me-
Full screen?
You are spotlighted.
Okay. Right. So what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to do a platter or dish. Probably more of a dish with the thickness of the piece of wood. It's a piece of sycamore, which is it'll end up around about 13 inches in diameter by around about 2.5 inches deep. I'm going to turn a fairly basic bottom half of this, but the top is going to be textured and coloured using my Arbotech mini carver. And some colors as well. So I'll just change camera. Oh, wrong camera. There we go. So here we have it. A bit of it's been outside a wee while, so there's a bit of discoloration there. That doesn't really matter because that'll get turned away. Using my Robert Sorby tungsten cobalt coating, I think it is. This is the 3/8 bull gouge that I tend to use every day. 3/8 UK is measured across the flute. Therefore, in the States, it'll be a 1/2 inch because that's measured across the bar. I think I've got that the right way around. If I haven't, I'm sure somebody will correct me. If you do have any questions, I don't mind if you ask questions. If you want to put them in the chat and go through Dane, that's all well as well. I'm not going to bother rounding this off. That'll come in the process of me turning the bottom. I'm turning it around about just over 700 revs per minute, and I'm going to start off doing pull cuts. So basically what I do, I get the bevel on, turn the bevel round until it starts cutting, and then come into the cut. I'm going to move that chuck key off there because it's about to fall off. So all I'm doing at the moment is just removing a fair amount of wood. Now I'm going to go into the center using a push cut just to get this leveled up so I can get the mortise in there. I do tend to use a mortise rather than a tenon. Now I'm just going to use a pair of dividers just to get the, for some reason I keep on getting a message coming up to cancel the meeting. Use a pair of dividers to get the size for the tenon. So whenever you're doing this, you only use the left-hand side to go in, never the right-hand side, and you try and meet up the 2 points. And that is just about exact there. So I'll get that marked. And then I'm going to use my 1/4 inch bull gouge just to take out the tenon, sorry, the mortise. And then I'm going to go in from the other side. I think I just need a little bit more depth in there. You don't really need a hell of a lot of depth as long as you get the size right. And what I'll do, once I flip this around, I'll explain the reasoning behind that. I'm just going to use my skew chisel just to put in the dovetail. And then I can carry on shaping the bowl. So we're going to have a foot on this, which will start around about there, I think. And I'm using a push cut now. Just starting to bring it round to get the shape. Now I'm going to move my tool rest. And come around, still defining the shape on it. Now the cuts still look a little bit rough at the moment, but they will get cleaned up once I do the final cut. Still got a couple of flat spots that I need to get rid of. A little bit to take off the top here, but that's all the flat spots gone. Just move me to the rest a little bit more, just to get rid of that final piece. That's that done. But what I'll do now is just come in with a final cut. And what I'm going to try and do is get my tool rest in a position where I can do the final cut, hopefully in one go from start to finish. It's got a bit of nice figuring in here, bit of inclusion there, but that's all part of the wood. So I'm going to try and do this in one cut if I can. And what I'm looking for is a very, very fine cut. Try and take your time when you do this. There's no need to rush the final cut. Now I am going to get a bit of chattering where those inclusions are, which I don't know if you can hear, but I can certainly feel them there. Now coming up to the final cut, up the side of the bowl, I am going to be reaching over the tool rest a fair bit. Just coming to the end of the cut now, and make sure you go right past the edge so you do get the clean cut all the way. And that's it, gone right over. Very nice fine shavings that have come out of that. And this, the bottom is now ready for sanding. Now I do use power sanding when I'm sanding, always have done. It's basically the way I was taught by a guy called Jamie Walwyn, who used to be part owner of Craft Supplies in the UK. So I'm going to just quickly go over this with 80 grit. I won't be doing a hell of a lot of sanding with 80 grit. Sanding just came off that one, not to worry. I'll just move straight on to 120. And then just quickly go over that with 240. And that's the sanding complete. So we've got a nice sanded finish on there, ready to take a finish. I'll just get all the dust a brush off on that. You can clean this with methylated spirits or denatured alcohol. And now what I'm just going to use, a spray-on cellulose sanding sealer. Doesn't matter where it comes from, they're pretty much all the same. I'm just going to wipe off any excess on there. And now what I'm going to use is an abrasive paste. Again, it doesn't matter which abrasive paste you use. People tend to use the one that they are familiar with or the one that they prefer, but whichever one. Now there's no need, if you're using an abrasive paste, there is no need to knock back the sanding sealer, because this is an abrasive paste and this will knock back any excess sanding sealer that you've got on there. Make sure you get a nice coating on there. Remember to put the lid back on. Then I tend to turn the lid down to around about 250 to start the process of working the abrasive paste in. And I'm using the same piece of paper that I applied the abrasive paste with and just working it in. You're as well spending 2 or 3 minutes with this part of the process just to make sure that it gets worked in really well. The reason that I use sanding sealer is that if I was just to go straight on with the abrasive paste, the oil that's in the abrasive paste tends to go straight into the wood. So it doesn't tend to do the job that it's supposed to do. The way around that is that if you forget to
Oh,
We lost them.
he dropped off. Oh, no. Well, hopefully he comes back in.
He may not know. Somebody should give him a call or something.
Yeah, if somebody's got his got a chat line for him over there, shoot him a quick message. I guess I can do it here. Get him on Messenger. I don't know if he'll have Messenger up or not. There he is. All right, he's back on. Now let's get him highlighted. There he is.
So,
Now we got
yes.
Wayne.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. For some reason, I got kicked out.
No worries.
Right, so I was going through the process of doing the abrasive paste. I think I was saying that if you forget to use sand and sealer, all you need to do is put a second coat of the abrasive paste on, and that'll sort any problems out. So I've worked that in. Now I'm going to turn the speed up, get a clean piece of paper, just to remove any of the excess. And the way to use the abrasive paste is to keep on working it in until your piece of paper comes away clean. Probably another go at that, and that'll come away clean. Yep, that's sorted. Now to put a final finish on, and I'm going to use microcrystalline wax as a final finish. I'm just going to put it on at the same speed and then start working it in. The best way to do this, I'm doing a demo now, but the best way to do this is apply the microcrystalline wax or any type of wax that you're going to use, apply it, and then leave it for about 15-20 minutes for anything extra that's in there to evaporate away, and then you'll get a really nice shine. But that's the outside done. All nicely finished, some really nice grain in this sycamore. So what I'll do now, I'll just flip it around. Oh, I was going to explain about the chuck jaws. Right, the chuck jaws, when the jaws are made, they're actually machined in one piece. And then they're cut into four. So you're going to have some kerf space where they're being cut in. So if you have the chuck jaws completely closed, you're not getting the full circle around the outside, and you're not getting the full circle on the inside either. They need to be opened about 2 mil before you get the full circle. And that's the ideal point for actually holding in a mortise or holding on the tenon. If you've got them open too far, like that, you're only going to be holding the piece of wood on these 4 points, which is not ideal. You don't get a good hold when you're doing that. So you need to have it, you need to have the jaws set correctly. And you don't really need, once you've got the jaws set correctly, you don't really need to have a very deep mortise. The mortise I've got on there is about half the depth of the actual jaws themselves. And you never want to go deeper than the depth of the jaws. Otherwise, your piece won't seat properly. Now, as you can see in the top here, basically what I've done, I've drilled a hole in here with a very cheap Chinese Forstner bit, which is a 70mm Forstner bit, which fits into my jaws. And when I'm doing platters and things like this, this is how I tend to hold the top for when I'm turning the bottom. It's very, very secure, especially on a platter type thing. If I was to be doing a deep bowl, I would maybe use this, but I'd also have the tailstock up as support. Just make sure everything's missing. That's catching a wee bit there, so I'll move that tool rest. And all I'm going to do with the top, I'm just 700, yeah, about 700. I'm just going to have the top nice and flat. So I've got a little bit to take off here. And what I'm doing, I'm getting the bevel of the gouge so it's pointing straight across. There we go. Still got just a little bit here that I need to get rid of. There we go. So I'll get that sanded up because this is where we're going to start doing the texturing and the colouring. Again, I'm going to quickly just go over this with 80. I'll sand this top to 400 rather than 240. I always tend to go to 400 or even above if I'm doing any sort of colouring. That doesn't want to stay on there. Do a different one. A little bit of tear out. That's better. That was 120. 1 to 240. And then on to 400. Right, I've got a wee bit tear out here, which I could sort. This is a demo piece. What I'll probably do with this after I'm finished, this will get remounted and refinished with something a little bit different. I'm going to go back to the sand and sealer. Whenever I'm using lacquer, coloured lacquer, paint or anything like that, I always tend to use a sand and sealer as sort of a primer coat. So again, whenever you're using a rattle can, whether it's sand and sealer or paint, do it the way they do in car booths if they're using a rattle can. Start at the outside of the piece, go across and finish at the outside of the piece. That way you get an even coating all the way throughout. I'm going to turn the lid off. I'm going to wipe off any excess. So the sand and seal. Now, I'm not using an abrasive paste on this now, so I am going to knock this back using a piece of web racks. And this is around about 1,000 grit, this is. So this will actually take off any excess of the sand and sealer. Let's have a look and see what that's like. Yep, that's not bad. And now we come to the, where is it? I'm using a black gloss lacquer on this, and it is fairly quick drying. And the people do say the only reason you use color is to cover up your mistakes. Now that is totally wrong, because if you're using any sort of color, it'll highlight the mistakes, and you'll see that on this piece. There's a little bit of tear out there. There's some tear out over here and on the edge here, and also here as well. And you will actually see where I put the gloss lacquer on, the black gloss lacquer on, you will actually see that it does highlight the mistakes. And what I'll do is turn that 90 degrees and then put another quick coat on there as well, just to make sure everything is covered. Anything I've missed, I'll have a look at. A little bit up here, and that's really where the tear out is. A little bit there as well, and that's all good to go on that one. Now my hot air gun is actually sitting down on the ground, so I'm going to use a hot air gun to dry this. Now whenever you use a hot air gun to dry any lacquer or paint or anything like that, the first thing to remember is when you switch it on, don't point it at the piece, just in case there's any dust or anything in there. Right, I think I've cleared that. So I'm going to turn this down to, I think that's around about 150. And I've got the gun around about 18 inches away from the piece, and I've got it on its first setting. Because what you don't want to happen is to overheat the lacquer so it starts to bubble up. I'll have a look at that. Now with this type of piece, this is going to get textured and colored, and the middle of the bowl is going to be taken out. So if you're feeling this type of piece for how dry it is, check in the center. And that actually feels touch dry to me. So now comes the fun part.
And he dropped off. Well, let's hope that he comes back on here shortly.
He's back.
Coming in.
Hit the admit button. Man.
Coming back, Dean. You just let him in.
All right, we got you again, Wayne. But you're muted.
Is that better?
Now we got you.
Right, okay. So what I'm using tonight is the Arbotech mini carver. This is the long neck carver. You don't have to use this. You can use the Proxon long neck carver. There is another one, but I can't remember the name of it. I'm not using an Arbotech blade. I'm using a Manpower blade. Now, in the States, you can buy these from King Arthur Tools. In the UK, I think I got mine from Amazon, and it's 3 cupped carbide cutters on here, which are adjustable. There is a tool to adjust them round and replace them and everything. It is a fierce beast. Don't get me wrong, this is a fierce beast. The motor in this is 700 watt. On the Proxon long neck driver, I think it's 100 watt. So there's a hell of a lot of power in this. And this carver carves really deep when you're using it as a carver, but it is also very delicate. So what I do, I set up the tool rest so I can actually get, that's a bit far away. I set up the tool rest so I can get the neck of the carver over the tool rest and come up to the piece. Now, doing this type of work, and I'm going to have the lathe running at around about 700. Mark Beckett and I had a bit of an experiment when I was down at his place the other week. And we found, certainly on doing a vase, 700 was a good speed. Now, the patterns you can make with this are just about infinite. Because if you have the tool above center, you're going to get a different pattern to if it's on center. If you have the tool over at a different angle, you're going to get a different pattern as well. The same as if you have the tool underneath center. So all of these things you can take into consideration and try and see what type of pattern that you want to get. And what you want to do is when the lathe is running and the tool is running, just introduce the tool just so it starts cutting and then bring it nice and gently towards the outside. So let's give it a go and see what we get. Now, my Arbotech, it's variable speed and goes up to 6. I've got this running on 3. It's still running quite fast. So introduce it, like I said, nice and gentle. I'm changing angle. There you go, guys. What do you reckon?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well.
That is too
Looks
cool.
great, Wayne.
Thanks, Ruby. Now, what Mark and I find, now I've been doing this type of work for quite a few years now. And what I have found is that if you do it on bare wood, it doesn't really matter what wood you do it on, but you can get a lot of fuzzies going on. Once you put the lacquer on, the fuzzies tend to cut down. And you can get rid of them just by using, where'd I put it? Oh, there it is. Just by using the Web-Rax pad. It shouldn't take very much of the lacquer, if any, off.
You did that so fast. Can you shave it off and do it again?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to shave it off and do it again?
What's the crowd think?
I like
I'd
it
love
like it is.
It again. Can you change?
No. Go get another piece. Get another piece of different one, Wayne.
No, but
You can do another one in 20
I'd
minutes.
love to see it with your other camera so we can see from above how close you are to the piece.
Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Right. What I'll do, right, is everybody happy with this pattern?
Well, yeah,
Sure.
great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just put the tool rest there. Now, the mini carver, it has got this area here, which actually just fits over the tool rest. Okay, so I've got the tool rest inch tape. I've got the tool rest 2 inches, near enough 2 inches away from the piece, so I can actually slot that across. And what I can do, I can go in horizontal, I can go in at an angle, I can actually heighten the tool rest so I am way above center, and that gives a totally different pattern again. Okay, depending on what angle you've got it at. I can take the tool rest now. My tool rest won't go down very, very low, but I should be able to get it. If I angle this right over, I can get that below center, which will give a totally different pattern again, depending on what the angle is. So like I said, the patterns you can get are just about infinite.
Pretty slick.
Right,
Yeah.
now this area here, this is where the bowl is going to be taken out. I'm just going to do a very small bowl in this because it's all about the pattern and the color. Now, I'm going to use an airbrush now. I'm going to use green and blue. And I'm using, they are water-based, they're from Hampshire Sheen. But the thing is, with the water-based ones, they don't stick or they don't penetrate through lacquer or through sand and sealer. Now, the good thing about using the carver is that it's gone straight through the lacquer, it's gone straight through the sand and sealer, and it's gone right into the wood. So what I'll do, I'm going to start off with green. I'm going to turn the lathe right down again to around about 150. And I'm going to start from the center and go about halfway out. Now, whenever I'm using an airbrush, I always go from the center towards the outside, over in this direction. This is because whenever I get to the edge over here, with whatever color I'm using, it's going right off the edge and it's not covering, it's not hitting anything underneath the edge. Whereas if I was to start from here and go towards the center, I might get some overspill. So that's the reason that I do it like this. So we're just going to start. Is that me getting kicked out again?
No, you're good.
Okay. Now I'm just going to use the green there. Then I'm going to swap over. Now what I've got with my airbrushes is a quick change connector, which at the moment isn't working, but I'll sort that. That's it. And now I'm going to use blue from the center towards the outside. And there we have the green and the blue. Is that standing out? Look, oh yeah, it looks okay.
Yep.
Now, seeing as how these are water-based, and like I said, they don't soak in to the lacquer or sand and sealer, there's always going to be some excess on the lacquer. So you can actually wipe this off, and it does actually blend in some of the color with each other. And it dries very, very fast as well. Oh, got a little bit of a fuzzy there. See if I can get rid of that. Speed up. Yep, that's better. So what I'm going to use now is the, oh, that's black, don't want that one. Is a clear gloss lacquer. And this, I could use sand and sealer. Sand and sealer will seal everything, but the gloss lacquer is a finish anyway. So I'm going to use the gloss lacquer. And again, just going from side to side, very thin coats when you're using lacquer. You don't want to put thick coats on because it can cloud up, or bloom as it's called, and it can run. So very thin coats. And I'm just putting the one on initially. Get the hot air gun again. Turn the speed down. Right, is that messing with everybody's eyes?
No, not at all.
Yep, that's touch dry. You can get around about 4 or 5 coats of lacquer on if you want, and then give it a knock back with the likes of a microfine abrasive paste, which will, and then finish it off with a wax if you want to. But all I'm going to do now is just clean out the bowl, and it's going to be a very small bowl. I'm just taking this center part out here because I want to leave this pattern. Obviously, this type of bowl or dish or platter, whatever you want to call it, is purely decorative. We're going in around about there. Oh, tool rest not tight properly. In fact, I forgot to adjust my tool rest back up to its proper height. That's better. Now, the other thing that you can do with this, if you want, and it sometimes works to your advantage, is that you can, I'm going to use my small bowl gouge for doing this. And all I'm going to do is actually frame this with natural wood. I'm going to frame it there, and I'm going to frame it in the center as well. That gouge is getting a little bit blunt. To tell you the truth, that one's not much better. Just give me a minute and I'll just give this gouge a quick sharpen. That's better.
Lost him again.
Dane's out of the room too.
Yeah, it looks like Wayne just fell off again. I don't know why that's happening, but that's what happened.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Bye-bye. It's a metric conversion.
That's it.
Taking a little longer to come back in this time.
I don't
Yeah, he
see
may not
him.
realize it.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that has internet problems.
Oh, tell me about it.
If we all want to be honest, we all have that problem.
Right?
And I've
Yeah,
got
from time to
Spectrum and they
time.
claim to be the best, and yet I always seem to have problems.
Yeah, I think there's
Well,
something
maybe-
wrong
may-
with the fiber
he
optic
may-
over in England, because I was having issues when I was on the UK
he
meeting
is.
today.
Yeah,
They have
let him
6
in, let him in.
Jim, don't mess.
The more people that are online, the more the problem.
We got you in, Wayne. We just need video and microphone. There
There
we
we
go.
are. Bloody Zoom updated there. Don't know what's going on tonight. Nearly finished anyway. Right, I'm just going to finish that off with my traditional grind. Right, now I'm not going to bother sanding the bowl on this. This will get redone for getting finished off properly and going into a shop. But I will just take the time just to take a bit of web racks over here, just to take those fuzzies off from when I formed the frame. Right, and then I'll change camera and show you the piece. And there it is, guys.
Fantastic.
Well done.
That's
Very
cool.
nice.
That is very nice. I like it.
Yes,
Very nice.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Well done,
Yeah.
Wayne.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Very
Great
nice,
job.
Wayne.
Very, very enjoyable, Wayne. Very enjoyable.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, I
Very
enjoyed
good.
Yeah,
the
Well
demo.
done, Wayne.
So if anybody has any questions or comments, now's the time. The floor is open for Wayne to answer them.
great demo, Wayne.
Cheers. Thank you.
No questions? That's amazing. That means Wayne was so thorough.
Yep.
Real, hey, he's
Everybody's speechless.
Well,
We're still
Wayne,
we're
am I
still
on? Hey,
we're still
Wayne,
agog
it
at the golden tools. It's the golden tools. It's done.
Oh,
Wayne?
right, the Sorby tools.
was
Yeah.
that good. It really was.
Yeah,
Nice.
these are
Got a
Robert
question,
Sorby
Wayne.
tools, and these are the What did I say they were?
Titanium nitride.
Or nitrate.
Titanium nitride coating on them. So they're actually done down the flute as well. So you still have the titanium coating actually on the cutting edge. So they do these in the bowl gouge of various sizes. They do them in the spindle gouges. Obviously, they can't do them on a skew because that would defeat the purpose. Because you'd grind all the titanium away.
Right.
But they do tend to last. The edges tend to last unless you're using a super hard high-speed steel, the likes of the Doug Thompson tools. These tend to last about the edge tends to last about 3 times longer than the like M2 M4 high-speed steel.
So Wayne, what's your sealing process for the inside of the bowl?
Right, the inside of the bowl, that will be sand and sealer, abrasive paste, and wax for the inside of the bowl.
Can you hold the bowl up again?
Yeah,
I
certainly.
want to get a picture of it.
Do you want me on full screen?
Yeah,
It
we're going
is.
on full screen.
Right. There I am. There you go. I'll try to get it without any glare on there, if I can.
Beautiful.
There you go.
That's
That should be
gorgeous.
okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Just gorgeous.
Very nice.
Like I say, all I did to change the pattern was actually change the angle of the cutter and the speed I was coming out at. And I always go from the inside towards the outside.
Then it looks like there's a question on the handles, whether or not they were Sorby handles as well.
No, these are Simon Hope handles. Sadly, Simon Hope does not export. You can only get these in the UK, and they're really good because all you do is loosen them off, take it out. They come in 3 different sizes. This one is 13mm, 1/2 inch. You get them in 10mm, and you get them in 16mm, which is 5/8.
Sue says thank you.
No bother.
Right on. Anybody else have any questions?
Wayne,
Comments?
that was so enjoyable. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Al. Right,
Okay,
guys.
that
What
was-
I'm going to do, I'm going to drop out now, go in the house, and I'll log back in once I'm in the
Okay.
house. Okay.
so
Good.
sorry.
All right,
All
we'll
right,
stay
thanks,
after a
Wayne.
while here.
Thanks,
Thank
No
Wayne.
bother.
All right.
Thank you, Wayne.
Let's go to Captain Eddie and get his thoughts on what he just saw. And then after Captain Eddie, we'll do some safety with Safety Sue, and then Randy's got something he wants to show us on some handle for some start-stop switches. Eddie, where you at? Did he pop off?
Looks like he
popped off.
did.
All right, let's go to Safety Sue. All right, Sue, we got you.
You got me? Hi, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry,
Welcome
here
back.
last. Wait. Yeah, you can hear me, can't?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Sorry I wasn't here last week. I know Billy would understand based on his short today. I had a beautiful truck, a gorgeous truck, and I sold it last Wednesday. And the realization that, yes, I'll never drive again kind of hit me. I had a major headache, the whole works, and that's why you didn't see me. And so, yeah, I'm missing my truck, but need to move forward and go on. So, yeah. I want to talk about, and this is for, novice turners, beginning turners, experienced turners, me, everybody. I was watching a guy and I'm going to say he was a young fella, 39, 38, somewhere in there. He was a young guy. And I wanted to watch him because he was doing a hollow vessel that was segmented vertically instead of horizontally. And I just wanted to see how he did it. And of course, they do go really fast when they're using the tables. He did use a push stick when it got thinner to do the thin slats that he was doing. But then he was turning. There was no face shield. And you could tell that. Once in a while, you get to see the side of his face. He had glasses on. I don't know if they were safety glasses, but he did have safety. I think they were safety glasses. No face shield. He had long. And so when you're watching these demos, guys, just be aware that the demonstrator is teaching you terrible stuff or very good stuff. They don't realize the responsibility that is on the demonstrator. Jim Duxbury knows, and anybody else out there knows. I know Doug knows, Billy knows, but you need to be completely safe. The first line of defense are safety glasses. And then on top of safety glasses, you need a face shield. You need ear protection, and you need dust protection. So folks, I'm just kind of reminding you that for all of us, if we're going to show somebody how to do something, then we need to be completely safe, because that responsibility is yours when you're giving instruction to another person. But what I would like to do now, I'd like to share the screen with Billy, because he said he had a couple of safety things that he wanted to mention. So I'm going off to Billy.
All right. We'll switch over to Billy here.
I do. One of them this past Saturday was at a friend's shop, and we were turning some wig stands for cancer patients and had a blast. But there was a couple of relatively novice turners there as well, and one of them in particular was turning the base, had begun to turn the base for one of the wig stands, and he grabbed a spindle roughing gouge and was making a whole lot of racket with it before anybody got to him. And so I had to explain to him. I showed him the bowl gouge and showed him how thick that it was round, and because it was round, it was more stable and less prone to shear, and the thickness of the spindle gouge he was using was not, and it looked kind of, and they're made to look like the handle of a file, and they won't handle those stresses. So I had to explain that to him. So you can't stress that sort of thing enough. Do not. Spindle gouges are for spindles, period, end of story. Yes, you can get by with a fluted spindle gouge inside a turning once in a while, but the spindle roughing gouges particularly, just don't. They're made for spindles. The second thing is be aware of your footing. And I'm not just talking about don't trip over cords and airlines and things of that nature. Be aware of your footing. Again, Saturday in a friend's shop. I'd never been in it before. He's got very nice rubber flooring underneath 75% of the shop. But the back of the shop where the bandsaw was sealed, polished concrete. And by sealed, I mean sealed. Like, yeah, I mean it and you get in any wood shop, you're going to get a fine layer of dust on stuff. I wasn't paying attention, and I walked back toward the bandsaw, and my right leg went forward. And if you can picture this fat man doing the splits,
Ouch.
needless to say, I pulled my right hamstring in the process.
Ouch.
So, yeah. So, be aware of your footing, especially if you've got a concrete floor like I do. And the only place I've got rubber is at the two legs. Just watch your placement of your feet so your feet don't get out from under you, because any number of things could have happened. I could have fallen into a saw blade. I could have fallen into any number of things. So as it is, I caught myself and pulled a hamstring, but it could have been worse.
They could have messed your Cinco de Mayo ass day up, you know.
yeah, really. So,
Hey, Billy, it's even worse when you fall off your chair.
I didn't fall off that chair, Wayne. The chair broke, remember? That did. I was in my shop one day, and I think I was on. I was in Nick's Live. I think it was, wasn't it? And
I think it was, yeah.
And the legs of my shop chair broke, and it dumped my fat butt in the floor. Anyway, just be mindful of your feet and try not to get hurt.
Thanks, Billy.
Sue's right. Safety is no accident. That's a pun, I know, and it's cheesy, but it's so true.
It is true.
It's so true.
You know, and sometimes it's not one of those things you can do some of or think of or intend to. No, you have to pay attention to it and do it, especially if you're doing a demonstration. If I came into your studio or your place to turn, your club place to turn, and I'm going to turn a spindle, I am going to wear my glasses because I can't see without them, but I'm going to wear my shield because it's good protection. To tell those folks I can't wear a shield and do this because I can't see, but it's okay. That really, you've torn off the safety. You threw it on the floor and stomped on it. Same thing with, I'm just going to sharpen this on a grinder, but it's okay. 1 or 2 passes. I don't really need to worry about that. When did you ever find out when that stuff's coming off that grinder head for your eye? I want to know where you get that warning at, because you don't get it. You have to protect. You must know that is going to happen. But if I don't show a rookie turner how to prevent it or how to protect from it, I am failing at turning. I failed terribly at it, because all I've done is show you a shortcut that can get you hurt, blinded, wounded. And there's no kids doing it. We're not kids, not children. So we get hurt, we heal slower. Don't tell me about that right now. We heal so much slower.
Don't make you laugh either.
Laughing. There's no laughing right now. We have failed at what we started out to teach people. And what we should teach them is how to do it, but how to do it safely. And to say, I like this guy, we want him to teach, but he doesn't like this gear. Find another guy. Really. Just go find another. It's not that hard. We do demonstrations. This is like 245 right now. And since the club was created, we find demonstrations every week because we find that other guy. And if we have a demonstrator that gets a little bit off edge, we'll talk to them about it and say, hey, you know, you're kind of boarded on this or that. And we've got some strict rules about promotions and things, and we call them down on it. You've heard us do it. You've heard us reel in people. I lost a good friend over that one time, early in the programs, because we said, no, you get it. I don't care. You can't do that. It might sound great to you, but that this is going to be fair and equal to every turner. So please, when you do these demonstrations, no matter how simple, think about how safe you have to be, please. and exude that. Put that out there like, I do this every time I turn. Because I want the younger. I want a novice turner to learn that safety is in the front of the bus. It's not something that'll drag up later. I came from the construction industry where if you ask for shields or gloves or whatever, this is in the early 70s. You got garbage. You really did. And it's all turned around right now. And now it's just speed that they're worried about. But I didn't think it through. And don't go to Dollar Tree looking for safety equipment. They're all out. It's some good stuff that'll last. Because these, you only get a pair. And look, I still got my 10 fingers. And there's some people that can't do that anymore. So when you're out there in the shop, please be careful. And I've been teasing the last 2 weeks or so about moving around and all. My wife allowed me to buy a tricycle, electric tricycle. And I go riding on the levee, which is a mile from my house. And I love it. Go down the length of the city. And I go through the neighborhood somewhat. She had to go to a workshop and I went with her. It's a beautiful park neighborhood where the backs of the houses face the streets and the fronts of the houses all face the parking area or park area. My father was the door-to-door delivery man out there for 35 years and I loved that area. I had a lot of friends out. I dated people there. And I said, I'll bring my bike out and I'll ride around. It's got to be lovely. Ran across a section of the sidewalk where a tree blew over and the sidewalk was all buckled up. And I said, no hill run stepper. I'll just go around on the side. I went around, but some three-wheel trike. That damn left wheel didn't follow very well. I went down on broken concrete. Wasn't happy that I could scream all day. Nobody could hear me. This is a pretty isolated place, being the back of these houses. 3 ribs punctured a lung, deflated a lung, punctured my spleen, got some serious bone damage in my back and my arms. My speed was like 1/4 of a mile an hour. I was slowly going around, but I top rope. The top is what got me. So I'll be about 6 or 8 weeks healing. And when he told me that, I said, nah, I'll be good in a week. Nah, they didn't tell me why. So sometimes you see me, I'm spacey and I'm out. Don't answer when you call or whatever. That's where I'm at. I got to get to a zone and let everything rest to get those old parts to go back where they're supposed to be. But tell you what, I ain't getting rid of the trike. Just not going to go around sidewalks with holes in them anymore.
Yeah, we don't heal nearly as quickly as we used to, Ed.
Oh man! And you know, when I went to see her, I got up. I meant it. It took me a long time to get up. Got back on a bike, went to a little coffee shop where we were going to meet. When she walked in, she walked up to me and she says, "How bad is it?" And I said, "It's serious." You know, and she said, "Well, let's go." So we're going to get the bike in the car. She used a foul word about the bike, and and then she used a foul word about me. But we got it all. We got the car, got it all packed up at home, and then I was going to play brave and not go that day. I went the next day. Mistake. Don't put up the warning signs. Come, folks. Pay attention to the warning signs.
Yep.
But I'm up and up. I'm up and about. I'm up and about. Yeah. And I learned from the lesson. I enjoy it. I'll be back for more. 6 weeks. Good God. It's okay. Hey, I'm going to take a minute to remind you about some things with it. Number one, we are an open club, which means everybody in this entire world involved in wood turning can join. There are no requirements, no restrictions, no limitations, no pass this, test that, nothing like that. If you're interested in wood turning, we're interested in you. And we do what it takes to do just that. We just having a wonderful demonstration just now. Do you know you would have to pay a good nickel to watch that demonstration either online or at a symposium. You really would. And you'd like it when you got done to take that knowledge home. And we work at that every single week. And we ask you for input as to what you want to see. You see, it's not a bunch of guys sitting at a table. We don't have a table. And a bunch of guys sitting at a table deciding what we're going to do. We listen to you because it's your wood turning club. If you tell us you want to know more about spindles, we'll put up spindles. If you know more about hollowing, it's hollowing. If you don't know about this and that, boom, boom, boom. And that's the beauty of what we do and why we do it. And there's no money changing hands. So if you say, I want to know more about this, I don't go to Ron Brown's Best. I love Ron. He's a good friend. Him and Nancy are great people. We don't go to them to see about their tools. We find somebody that turns and what tools they use and what tools they can use are made or whatever. So we're real open about that. Now, one of the things our club has, you see this? I just got this week. I got to learn how to show it to you. This is my Worldwide Woodturners shirt. There you go. Worldwide Woodturner. It's on the back. I'm not going to try to show you the back. But this is a shirt. I went to the website, found out how, and I mailed this shirt to Scott at the instructions on the website. And Scott had a screen printed for me and mailed it back to me. And all those details are on the website. Now, it doesn't have to be a shirt. It can be a vest, be a cardigan sweater. No, I don't do it. It's a cardigan sweater. But you can get anything you want with the club logo on it. But it's going to be your property when you send it to us. And it'll be beautiful when you get it back. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. But if you want to get a jacket or a vest embroidered, one of our members, I'm terrible at names right now because I can barely remember mine, gave us artwork for getting it embroidered. And we have that artwork on our website available for you for free. Somebody's going to say his name in a second. I can't.
Grinstead.
Bob Grinstead. I remember that outlaw. Yes. Great turner. But he had the artwork done and it's on our website. So that's where it's at if you want to get it done. Number 3, we've got club logo on 3-inch disc vinyl sheets. And they sell to you for 10 pieces on a strip for $5. That information is also on the website. And that's about what we've got cooking right now. If you haven't checked us out, we have developed with JJ running the show and the help of the world's greatest webmaster, we have got a fantastic newsletter. What you got, Brenda? What you got? Oh, you got the logo?
Yes.
There's
All
the
right.
sticker.
It
That's
improved the comfort of her chair.
Yeah. I got one on the back of my computer. You can't see it. And on the card, it's out. But those are what we did. Now, that was we got into that. Look at it. There's the back of the shirt. All right. WorldwideWoodturners.org. And we get around and we do this to promote our club. And do you know that there's no profit in any of these programs we're doing? There's no money made, goes in a bucket, we get rich. No, we're going to grow this club. And that's what we're doing. Growing a club. I think this is the best part of what we do is go find demonstrators, go find things that are unique, go find things that folks want to see and hear and demonstrations and output and techniques. You know the techniques we've shown? There's nothing dealing with coloring and stain and carving and decoration and all that we haven't shown. We got probably one of the masters of decorating. I'll do this. Matt Harbor up there in Detroit area, who shows us these unique things on how to put color and add an accent. Yeah, and he does it for us at free all the time. We've got a bunch of professional turners that demonstrate for us. All these folks help us. Now, we're going to ask you to help us. That's right. I'm going to ask you to help us. Don't open a wallet. Don't get out the checkbook. We don't want your credit card. We want your assistance. We want you to input what Worldwide Woodturner should do. We want to know what you want. We want to know what you are looking for. If you don't like something, tell us. We're open. We won't cancel you out and burn you. We've had one member make a comment that was very, very ugly and rude, and accidentally we deleted them. But it was very hurtful. You know, our policy is we're just like kindergarten. You come in nice, you make a friend, and you go home with a smile. Can't get any nicer than that. No cliques, no gang, no beating up. We try not to be insulting, but you hear us call each other by nicknames and teasing. I mean, and look at the names on the chart. I mean, yeah. And today I said Billy Burt's going to miss Mayonnaise Monday, for May 5th. That's Great Mayonnaise Monday. And Brenda Band-Aids, Brenda, and others. We have a little fun with it. We're clean. We don't want to be hurtful, but you know, we don't know what you're thinking about. So I'm asking you tonight, come on, let us know what's going on. We might probably get back to a little bit of gallery tonight. It's only a few minutes after the top of the hour, 7 o'clock. And I know you folks have got things to share and show, and want to know more about them. Dane, are you going to take over gallery, sir?
Yeah, we're gonna go to,
Let's
gonna
go to
go to
Wayne
Randy
first.
Smith
Let's go.
here.
Let's go to Wayne first.
Well, thanks, guys.
So
Okay,
what you
what
got,
I've got,
Dave? Wayne?
am I still muted?
No,
No,
you're
can hear
on.
you.
live.
Here.
Okay, so what I've got tonight is a piece of burr elm,
Ooh,
which is around about 10 inches in diameter. I think probably around about 5 inches deep, because I took a bit off the bottom. Not finished yet. It's still got the tenon on. I've still got to take the tenon off. Inside is cleaned
Nice.
out and undercut. It's actually shown up a lot better on camera than it is in real life, because this needs a hell of a lot of work done on it. It needs a hell of a lot more sanding and finishing, especially on the undercut. That needs to be sanded a lot better before it can go for sale. But a very nice piece of burr elm. Got a
Indeed.
bit of spalting and punky bits around the outside, but a really nice piece of wood. So I did that on my live tonight before I came back into the workshop. Oh, another punky bit there.
yeah.
Before I came back into the
Old
workshop to do
octopus.
the live for you guys.
That was an excellent live.
Oh, cheers. Thanks, Al.
Nice piece, Wayne.
It was.
All
Very
right,
nice.
thank you, Wayne. All right, let's,
Now, I really enjoyed doing tonight's live for you guys, and because the difference between my lives on YouTube and when I'm doing a demo like I did for you guys is that I don't have the earworms. My lives tend to be entertainment, and it tends to be more about me in the background doing some turning. And the earworms keeping me up to date with what's going on in the chat and starting conversations with people in the chat and things like this. So I've got to say, I really enjoyed doing tonight's demo and explaining the whole process from start to finish.
yeah,
So thanks
much
for that.
more enjoyable that way. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Wayne.
Thank
really
you,
good.
Wayne.
All right, let's go to Randy Smith, who's got something he wants to show us.
Yep.
Randy?
Dane? Yep, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I got you. Hold on.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
There was mention earlier about the about safety switches, and this is my safety switch. This is below the lathe, right where my knee hits it. And I can smack it with my knee very easily if something untoward happens. Now, I purchased this one from Rockler. They have them in stock and they're $40. And I modified it slightly. And let's see if I can do this. No, I can't. Okay, let me go back in here. Unfortunately, my can you see that now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's the back of it. You see right at the bottom there. It's two pretty strong magnets that I attach to the back of it so that I can move it wherever I want to. And the plate above it is where it normally sits when I'm turning. I've since added one of these to each of my the bandsaw and to my table saw, so that I have something that I can hit quickly and shut everything down. In fact, the reason I bought these was because I was once cutting something on my bandsaw, and I reached, or I'm sorry, my table saw, and I pushed the piece through the cut, and then I reached over the blade and grabbed the cutoff piece, and as I did so, the table saw turned back on. I had a costume malfunction. And so after that, I put one of these switches on each of my machines.
That's pretty scary.
It was. I had to shut the table saw off and go upstairs for a while.
I'm sure.
Are they 110 or
it was-
220 or both voltage available?
Pardon?
Is it available?
I don't believe so. I think they're only 110.
Okay.
They have a two cables. One is a male. There's a very short female that goes. There's a very short female that goes. It's about that long. That goes on the that you can use to plug into the actual machine itself. But they work really well. So that's what I have
All
to
right,
share.
well, thank you, Randy. Dane, you're the next up on gallery.
Oh, sweet. Guess we're gonna use that camera. Guess it doesn't matter.
you want to use the other one? I could switch you.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So I made a drink muddler, cocktail muddler. A little bit off center turning, did a sphere, did some embellishing with my flex grinder. So I drew some circles.
Wow.
On the sphere.
Cool.
And
Where have I seen a design like that recently? Oh yeah.
Mark Schiffer. And Ruby did
What does that thing do?
last week. It's a drink muddler. So mojitos, old fashions, you know, it's just a conversation piece at your wet bar.
Okay, again, I mean, how many centers did you use?
One.
Two.
One.
So
you got one for doing the shaft, one for doing the end, and then you got a second center for doing the inside for the sphere and the two half bead pins. And then
It's a great idea, Dane, and working off of Ruby's demo.
Very good idea.
Sure. And then the sphere is ebonized with iron acetate.
What kind of wood?
Mesquite.
Very cool.
That looks really great, Dane.
So
That's-
pretty slick.
That is pretty.
So turned it with a skew. The inside for the half bead pins, I used Martin Pigeon's all rounder. The outside, this side here, more practice with the all rounder. So used it inside with the skew, cleaning up the sides of the spear. Used a 1/4 inch spindle gouge. Other than that, nice and clean.
My mom would say that's too pretty to use.
Well, on top of that, I'm going to be giving it to my daughter. So
Yeah, it's beautiful. She's gonna love it.
yeah, she is.
Very cool.
So
Very cool. Dane.
be a good
Looks great,
conversation.
Dane.
For
What do you finish it? What do you finish that with, Dane?
Let me see. What did I finish that with?
For the drink?
Well, it's shiny, so it's either like his tongue oil or the CA glue, right?
Right.
Just
Well,
tongue
that's
oil?
what's got it. So the inside surface has been sealed with tongue oil, and then so I've got 4 coats of tongue oil on the outside, and I'll finish up the bottom half here with another layer of Parfix 3408.
Okay. Yeah, because of the alcohol. Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Nice job. Very
Dane,
nice.
how did you finish what did you finish and embellish the ball with?
I used a flex grinder and a 1/16 what's the bit's called, Matt?
Spear burr.
A burr.
The spear
Yeah,
burr. Did you use a stump cutter? Did you use a saber tooth? Did you use I don't know. You tell me. Diamond burr.
Was it just a carbide burr?
It's just a carbide round burr. It's about 1/16 of an inch.
Okay.
Okay. I'm guessing, Dane. Yeah. Okay.
I'd go get it, but I don't feel like pulling it down. So yeah.
Yep.
Probably just a regular carbide burr.
Yeah, it's just a regular.
Okay,
little-
thanks, Dane.
I probably missed
you're
it, but what did you use to color the ball?
The ball was so after I turned it, I very carefully used a fine paintbrush to paint on iron acetate.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
for any that dripped over onto the pillar, I just cleaned it up with spindle gouge.
Okay. Looks great.
Yeah, right on. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dane.
Very good.
All right. Next up is Dave Kingsley.
Yep.
Hey, here I am.
There you is.
I feel like a rank amateur here. I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was doing communion sets, and I got some of the patents done through Cherry.
Oh,
It's
that's
very, very
They're
simple
both-
little plates,
Pretty.
Very nice.
although I overdid it with one of them. Well, you never
That
know.
one is now truly holy.
Yes.
I did a bowl like
That's the same thing my wife said. But last week I mentioned something about hollowing a funeral urn. And
It's beautiful.
I got it done. It still needs a lot of finish work, and the brass isn't glued in yet because I want to, do all the finishing first.
Mhm.
But
That's really pretty. That grain is awesome.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The opening of the brass right there. What is that size? Is the opening 2 inches or less than 2 inches?
it's 2 inches. It's a brass urinal spud that I turned down.
I'm making one, and I have it about 2 inches, and somebody says that places will not put stuff in less than I think it was like 3.5. So there isn't a dimension, is there?
I have no idea. All I know is that the lady already has the ashes and she can do what she wants with them.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
But if you're gonna make it for a funeral home, every funeral home is different.
All right, okay.
Your standard Broughton urns have anywhere from 1.5 to a 2.5 inch hole,
Do they? Okay.
depending, and it depends on the size of the urn. The bigger the urn, the
Okay.
bigger the hole.
yeah, and the piece I'm using was a urinal spud that I bought at Home Depot and turned it down. You know, because there was
So I
the
guess
the thread part, there was a big piece on the other end of it that fit, you know, that mates with the urinal, and I had to turn that off, which was easy enough.
I was
Very
just
cool. Thanks.
wondering.
Yep.
But yeah, that spud cost me, I think, $11 as opposed to buying a brass urn, you know, thread set that's gonna run you $40, whatever.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. But it was an exercise in patience because, like I said last week, they're homemade and inadequate hollowing tools, and so very slow, very, 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 very fine cuts, very tender cuts to keep
Even
you from
with good
hitting.
ones, even with good ones, it's slow and very small cuts.
Mhm.
But
It is. It's a lot of work.
it's patience. It's patience.
Nice job, Dave.
Yeah, thanks.
That's really
That
good.
makes one in a row, right?
That's great.
Gotta
By the
start
way,
somewhere.
when I
brilliant.
logged in tonight, I looked at the lineup for who have things to share, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna write it up right now because Jim Duxbury isn't in there yet." And then he had to go, and he jumped in with that absolutely fantastic work of art. I mean, I just can't win.
I wasn't ready for that either, to tell you the truth.
Oh,
Anyway.
Well,
but that's
well,
an
you're
awesome
next.
piece.
You're next, Jim. So you said you had
We
something
can't-
else.
Jim, we can't compete with those pieces.
No, never mind. Sure you can. This is a regular chuck. This is my big version of my small chuck, the Dux chuck. This goes in a stronghold chuck for the big, I don't remember what jaw numbers. But anyway, it takes, instead of an 1 5/8 hole tenon in here, you have a 2 1/4 inch tenon. And this is made for, oh, I don't know, you could get a 1 inch offset. This is the amount of offset. You slide this way in your chuck to get the offset, and then you turn whatever you're doing in here to get the indexing. Well, that when you start going bigger, I had to go a longer tail on this thing. And I wouldn't suggest going any longer than this, I'll tell you. I don't know where you can go, but this did hold. It didn't fly out, nothing happened. But anyway, I was out here. So I had 2 1/4 inch offset here. And then this piece was on here, indexed this way. Once you got the offset, once you got your offset, you're out here, probably like that. Why do I do this backward on this part? Anyway, like
How
that.
is that piece attached to your chuck?
It had a tenon on here, 2 1/4 inch tenon that went in this hole.
Right.
Give me that offset, the sideways offset.
I don't know which one you mean.
The thing you put over there, the bowl with the 2 plain sides.
Dumb question,
Anyway,
Jim.
right?
Dumb question.
It has
I'm
a
in the
tenon.
process of. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. The one with the angled side, the thing we don't. No, where's the blank with the angled side? You didn't know what to do.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing like being prepared, huh? Anyway.
We
This is
should Rita's there.
what?
We're glad Rita's there.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
She knows where everything's at.
The riddles,
She hides it. Anyway, this was done with an angled chuck. But anyway, this is the tenon. Once you put the tenon in this chuck, it has to go in there, damn thing. Once you put the tenon in this chuck, and you clamp this up in the jaws, then this can move sideways this way to put it offset. And you could turn anything you want in the front of this. This was an angled chuck, but that's what the tenon looks like. So there would have been a tenon on the back. There was a tenon on the back of this. And that fit in this hole. It would fit in this hole this way. So when this is at 2¼ inch offset, this thing would be centered right here. And then these are each indexed this way. You can see, but it's not nice because this whole thing is flying around. And especially these last cuts, this whole piece is flying around and you're only cutting from here to here. So the rest of the circle's missing. And
sorry, Jim, just to see if I'm picking you up right here. The back piece that you've got on there that clamps onto the workpiece actually moves along your jaws and clamps down.
yes, the jaws fit on here. Like
All right, now I'm with you.
This gives you the offset. This is why it's intuitive, Wayne. There's many chucks that you rotate and you get an offset. You rotate the thing, it cams over.
Yes.
And they work great. But this, you slide sideways and the kind of cam over, you move it 1.5 inches or something, and it gives you a 1/2 inch offset.
Right.
This you can move 1/2 inch. You can see the distance here, and you know you got a 1/2 inch offset on what you're doing. And like I said, this is made for doing bangles and doing bottle stoppers and little things, but you know, you have to go the next step. So this is the next step. Now it's out here and this whole thing's flying around with this blocker wood on it.
Thanks for showing us, Jim.
Yeah, and it's really not nice when this has its tenon on the back here.
And I come out in case you
And
forget.
I usually keep Rita around to call 911 in case something happens.
Jim,
Yeah,
I've got a question for you.
sure.
I'm in the process of making one a little bit bigger than the one that I made the first time.
Yeah.
And I drilled it to take a 3-inch tenon. Is that too big?
No, as long as you've got some wood here and here. This is made for the stronghold, I don't know, number 2 jaws or whatever. So I just took whatever size it was and gave you need some stability from here to here to make this all hold together.
Right.
And like I said, on the bigger ones, I doweled them so that this thing is not, it's not in compression. It's not just a saw cut anymore. This works much better.
Agreed.
But I got another one coming up. Let me show you this. Let me do a screen share here.
Jim, what speeds are you turning?
It all depends. Probably around 600, 700.
Oh no, it froze.
No.
If your lathe starts walking, it's going too fast.
Yeah,
that's right.
No, I learned to turn on a Shopsmith, so you follow it around the room.
Yep.
In fact, I had a 2x4 frame so it wouldn't run into the wall. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. This is cut number 3, so I'm doing this. So you can see that half of this is missing and it's flying around. But when you're doing cut number 8, you're out here, you're out on this one. And as you progress out, you can't see the next cut here because I've taken the line out. So I have to kind of guess at that. And I do a real narrow cut right at the cut line. And I'm in the groove of my next piece, my next cut. Here's what it looks like when it's almost done. You can see here this end. In fact, to start the tool is really hard because this thing's slamming and you can't pick up a cut. So you have to go real light. And
I take it on that outside cut, Jim. You are cutting a hell of a lot of air.
oh yeah, and I'm finding now I'm starting to use a scraper, and a scraper you can just real finely move in and and feel like cut more. But you can see on the end of some of these that I've chipped it out, but that gets cut out anyway. This is the next one. That's what it looks like off the lathe. And that's what it looks like when you get done. Well, this is kind of fun. This is different photography. This is with a side lighting, so it has shadows. And this
I just love the point coming down that. I mean, that is very down at the bottom. See that?
they all have to be tangent down here.
Yeah,
So
but you had to like go from the middle, then work your way out.
Yeah, well, my first cut around here is a 16th inch parting tool, and a lot of this is missing, especially when you get out in here. A lot of this wood's missing, so you do your first cut and it ends here, and you just hold your parting tool and make sure it comes tangent to here. And then as you're working your way down, you keep taking that parting tool down and fine tuning that. But when you get out here, you're way out on the end. Anyway,
Right.
This is the 6 inch, and that's the back of it. That's the other thing I was going to show. That's it.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Way cool.
Thanks, Jim.
My God, for sure.
So following Jim, we have Doug.
Let's go from the sublime to the stupid or the simple, whatever.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm pleased I was first.
Got 3 pieces to share with you. I shared a couple of plates last week that I did. Did some more plates. This is another pine piece. This one's what did I say, 11 inches, I think is what I said, by 1.5 inches tall. Rim or a bead here with a little fillet just inside of that, just to set off the inner part of the plate, nice and flat across there. Nothing special on the back really. You see the recess that I was holding it with, and then the foot here about 1 inch wide or so. So anyway, that's another for my plate collection. I've got a rack that I want to fill. It's a rack that holds 32 plates, and I want to fill that up. So anyway, yesterday, I decided I'd pull out a piece of hackberry. I haven't turned a bowl for a demo in a long time, so I wanted to do a bowl. I cut up a piece of hackberry. Came out really nice. A little bit of a inward, slightly closed top on it. Forgot what I measured this one at. It's 8.25 inches wide, and just finished with abrasive paste and wax, much like what we saw Wayne do tonight. Very simple, but a quick and elegant finish. Really, it's not that high gloss like lacquer is, but it's a good finish. Looks good. And then today, I cut up several pieces of hackberry into blanks and did another plate.
Wow.
Another salted hackberry.
Beautiful.
And I was thinking a while ago, this is some of Matt's favorite, and so Matt, here you go. Good looking
Yeah.
stuff. It
I
is
love
good
That's
looking.
salted
really
hackberry.
nice, Doug.
Well,
And it
I've never
turns.
seen I've never seen hackberry that big. My hackberry is maximum hackberry I've got is like 3 inches across. So
Oh, really?
Oh
This
God.
was a limb. All of this that I have was a limb that at the base end of the limb up close to the trunk, it was 20 to 24 inches in diameter. It was massive, massive.
wow.
This plate comes out at just over 9.5 inches. Again, the back, very plain, got a foot around here. I did a tenon on this one for some reason. Well, I know why, because right here, it's flat. The round is not continued right here. So I did a tenon instead of a recess, just to make sure I had plenty of wood. And I think you can see it. Yeah, I got a little bit of a
I
bead
noticed.
right
I
on
noticed
the
that little
edge.
void.
Yeah, I
I
tried to
like
do,
that void. It's very organic.
yeah, on the void, yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to get a double bead on the edge and it just didn't hold. And so ended up with a single bead with a little fillet on each side, and that worked out really nice. Again, the abrasive paste and wax, just carnauba wax, so it'll hold up real well. So yeah, that void right there, this is a piece of crotch. That's what that is right there. And I've
Wow.
got the
Well,
other
it's a lot
half.
of it's got a lot of character, Doug. Very
It
nice.
Yeah, it
does a
does. I
lot of
love it.
spalting. It's no wonder that this limb came off. It was pretty punky. The limb was. This piece of wood was not. So many colors. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
And the ripple.
gorgeous.
I think every once in a while you can probably see the ripple in it.
Oh yeah, you can see the curl. That's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, all through here. It's
Yep.
just
Yeah.
it's nuts. It is nuts. And it's on the back side as well, right there in the rim.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see it right here.
I
Gorgeous
can even
stuff.
see it. I can see
Yep.
it at the bottom even.
Oh yeah,
Nice
it's
piece
everywhere.
Nice piece of wood.
Yep.
And you did a
Thank
wonderful
you.
job with it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Great
That's me
job.
for tonight.
Thanks
All
for
right. Well,
sharing.
next up is me.
Doug.
So let me start off with I started off with some light pulls. So these are cherry. And I discovered that I like the way this feels a lot better than I like the way this feels as a pull. So, and I did some burn lines this time. And then last week I showed this piece. And this week
There you
I've been doing more of that. So this is a small piece of box elder.
That's pretty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
I do
looks-
too. It came out real nice. And I cheated on this one. I used my Sorby spiraling tool to do the spirals and then followed them with the carving. And then today and yesterday I've been working on this piece here.
Not
If you
cheap,
can see
Matt.
that.
Yes.
I like
Oh,
it.
Nice.
that is pretty.
So I'm having a lot of fun with this, with the painting and the dry brushing. And I will say, thank you very much, Tim. I will say that I've tried a number of different brushes and stuff, and I bought a small set of these are dry brushes for there's a small dry brush set. It comes with like 6 brushes, and they work best. I've got stencil brushes. I've got all kinds of other brushes. So I got a bunch, but those dry brushes work the best for doing that. I had really fine motor control on them. So if you're going to do that, and I'll be doing a demo here shortly on that. So thank you, Ruby, and everybody else. I appreciate it.
Yep, looks
So
great.
Thank you, Matt.
yep, my pleasure. And I've got other plans for more, so they'll be coming.
Right on.
So next up is Charlie.
Yeah, I'm here.
Here you go.
Thank you. I haven't done a whole lot, but they're not finished. I have no coating on them yet. That's just plain pine. and then I burn it with a propane torch afterwards.
Looks great.
And last week I showed 3 lighthouses. I made another one. This one ain't finished. So I got several messages sent to me asking me about the light. Now I make them so they fit right through the top. It ain't glued together even yet. I'm not promoting Walmart. This comes from Walmart. It's a garden solar light, 97 cents. Just take the stem off, drill a hole the size of this thing, and it goes in there. I don't glue this in because they wear out fast. They can.
Is it solar, Charlie?
It's solar.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And that's why the round hole at the top, I make it just a hair bigger than the top of the solar light, and you can take and wiggle that up out of it, throw it away, buy another one for 97.
Yeah. You can get them off of Amazon too. The ones I got off Amazon last a little bit longer. They're not any more expensive, I don't think.
I can get 2 summers maybe out of them.
That's a long time.
I'll tell you what.
But and you can go to the dollar store. You can go to the $1.25 now.
Yeah.
Walmart, Menards, Home Depot, and if you want a bigger light, they make them bigger than this.
The part that you throw away, if you put that back in the box and you go back to Walmart with your receipt, they'll let you get another one.
Oh
Yes,
my
no.
goodness. Dang.
No,
Oh my goodness.
that'd be wrong.
Hey,
Of course
Charlie.
it would be. It's
Yes,
a
sir.
joke. It's a
Charlie.
joke.
Show that first piece again.
Cross.
The
He's trying
cross.
to remember which
Yeah,
one it was.
Uh-huh.
Nice cat.
Don't drink it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Good job.
that's really pretty.
You just take plain pine, or you can do it with any kind,
Right.
and you can
So-
burn it afterwards with a propane torch. Don't
Yeah.
burn it too much.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
That's all I
Next-
have.
Next up
And
is
Bob
Gary
Grins-
Hales.
And then on those crosses, Bob Grinstad has a chart on the web page for the proper proportions for a cross as well.
Mm-hmm.
We had a big weekend with our local club. We had somebody from Jim Duxbury's Stomp of the Woods. We had Jerry Meesemer from North Carolina come in and teach turning hats.
Oh wow.
So we all turned mini hats.
Yeah.
These were my 2.
Nice.
And he turned big one.
Wow.
Whoop, got it on backwards, don't I?
I think
No,
you got it on
I had
back.
it on forward.
You sure?
But he did a big one. Yeah. Well, it wasn't done to fit me, but my head's a little too big for it.
That is my goal.
And then he was playing with this one. And this one was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
That
That's
is my
neat.
goal.
And he undercut the lip and with a easy wood too. He said he couldn't figure out how to get his others in there. So he wound up cutting the lip on that one with the easy wood. But that was his top hat.
Excellent.
Very cool.
He was a good turner. It was an enjoyable weekend. We turned for 3 days with him.
Cool.
Looks like fun.
Had fun. Yeah.
That's on my bucket list.
Next up is Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Oh yeah.
He made it all the way here, despite how late it is.
Yeah. Been awake. Right, I've got some pepper mills. I'll be making these. This one is, it said it was African rosewood. It looks a bit like Bibinga, but just a bit lighter in color. So I'll hold it back there so you can see it.
Yeah.
So I've got a fairly simple shape on it. It is actually full of peppercorn, so I won't take the top off. I've used the crush grind mechanisms in this, which are they sort of clip in. You just got to cut a groove in the right place. And then I've got this one here, which is Rapala lacewood.
Very nice.
Another one. This is I think it's Honduras rosewood or something like that. Not entirely sure on that one, but that's what I think it is. And then one more here. This one's Amazak or Ofkangol or whatever you want to call it. Schedule, I think, is another name for it. It's a nice piece of wood.
Very pretty. I like your shapes too. Very nice.
Yeah, I don't like things like too many coves and beads and too fussy, so I've gone for very simple shapes, which makes them easy to turn as well. But yeah, I made a dozen in total. So, some of those are actually one of a pair. The last three I showed you are one of a pair. This one is one on its own, but the other ones are a pair. So I got salt and pepper grinders as a matched pair. But yeah, I made about a dozen of those altogether.
Very nice.
Very cool. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Cheers.
Nice, Paul.
Next up is Gary in Oklahoma, who we caught eating.
Yes, I'm finishing up supper. Okay, last week we had the discussion about the Badans, and so what I did was started looking. I wanted to make my own, and I found on Amazon was the only place that I could find anything close for stock. We mentioned 3/8, and so I went out even to McMaster cart and could not find 3/8 in anything more than 6 inches long. Amazon has a package of 3 8mm square by 200mm, so it's a little bit less than 3/8, a little bit less than 8 inches long. And I will put the link in the chat right now for it if somebody's interested. Anyway, so I started out a couple of days ago finally working on the handle. So I got the handle done, and today I went ahead and put the rod in and ground it to 45-degree angle and tried to start experimenting with it. Oh, there was some other, when I put it in, I said it was going to be a French Badan, and somebody made the comment, well, why? And all that. If you go back to last week, you'd actually find the reason. What's the difference between an English and a French? The sides of an English are not parallel. The French, they are parallel. And I don't know where you'd ever find some high-speed steel that does not have square stock. So anyway, I did that, and then I started trying to experiment with it. I only had about a half hour of playing with this tool.
How were you holding it when you experimented with it? That's correct.
Let's let him explain it first.
Anyway, I tried to start with a piece of 2x4, and boy, I'll tell you, it was really soft, and I was getting catches all over the place. And so I pulled out of the scrap pile a piece that was about, I guess it's 3/4 square and really poor wood quality, which you can see even part of the end came off. But I was experimenting, and with the harder wood, I was able to actually start learning. So if somebody starts with softwood, don't give up, go to some hardwood or start with hardwood. But that's where I was starting, and that's a half hour of practice using a brand new tool for me. So anyway, comments are appreciated. But I wanted a wider cutoff tool that would also then work. And as I've been using it when I was doing this one, it's basically, I was using the techniques of a skew. And that's where I was going. So I've got a lot more learning, a lot more practice ahead.
Yep,
Well, you
that's
did
how
a
those
good
work.
job.
Thank you. But so, I mean, if somebody wants one can be made. This one here was drilled about 2¼ inches, and it was 1/60 or 1/64 over 3/8 for the drill hole, and then drove this in, and that will not come out. That is a drive hard fit. Of course, it was then square when I drove it. And it took some time to grind that to a 45. But anyway, so go forward.
Thanks, Gary.
That's
cool, Gary.
Thank you.
So next up, we've got Terry Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm here. Looks like you found me. I was just wanting to say that I was paying real close attention to that piece that Jim did, trying to figure out that oversized ducks, Chuck. I think I'm just going to let Jim do them. If that makes any sense to you. I just wanted to show real quick the piece I showed last week. I went ahead and finished it. And I did quite a bit more to it. What I did was originally, this had a tendon on it. And I drilled a hole the size of the tendon with a Forstner bit. And I went in there, and then when I realized how it was, I realized that the center of the Forstner bit left that little dimple, which let me jam chuck the whole thing into the lathe and shape the inside of this so that the vessel actually fit down into it all the way around, nice and tight. It's actually not even glued in there, and it ain't coming out. It's really good.
Could you pull that closer to yourself, Terry? Pull it away from the camera. There you go. Thank you.
It around. But that's just an old rotten piece of burl. I don't know what it was, but I cleaned it up.
Beautiful is what it is.
I soaked it and soaked it and soaked it with sealers and stuff, trying to harden it up. Then I put some poly on it real heavy. It's solid and stable. Then the inside piece I worked over several times, and that's what I finally came up with. It's still with the cocktail toothpicks stuck in there. There's a piece, and I put a little red tint on the inside of the tops, and it actually kind of looks like a reflection when the light hits it. It's really, I think I'm happy with it. As happy as I can.
Terry, did you send out the dye on top?
Happy with it too.
Any of you guys know me that I don't think I've got a piece that I've made yet that I'm happy with.
That's what
Terry, if you find yourself getting unhappy with that one, you can just send it to me. I'll dispose of it properly.
It is absolutely beautiful, but I'm curious if it's carnivorous.
Joaquin said he thought it looked like a flowering desert cactus.
There you go.
That is
looks like
beautiful.
I
That's
think maybe
beautiful.
something I came out of it.
Am I muted?
Dream or a nightmare. I'm not sure. But anyway,
very cool, Terry.
I saved it.
Terry.
And I was thinking I might try to actually make one from the beginning instead of trying to rescue another piece. I was thinking maybe a little smaller one. I might try another one. But it was fun. I saved it. The main piece was been a couple of years.
That's a really pretty piece, Terry. That's a really pretty piece.
That's what we got. So that's all I got. So thank you.
Terry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Got a question for you. My God, y'all. So on your piece, did with the dye job on top, did you dilute that from last week? It looks like it's a lighter colored than what it was last week, or is it just the video quality?
Yeah, I changed it a little bit, and I actually took some yellow acrylic paint and thinned it down real thin and painted the inside, and it reflects the light around in there a little bit. And the centerpiece is a different one. This, I made like 3 or 4, and I don't think this is the one I showed last week.
Okay, yeah,
This
this
is a little
this
different.
centerpiece looks a lot better than what you showed last week. It caught my eye,
Yeah.
so that's why I was asking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. That's
Okay.
what we got. That's
Right
how
on,
it's
thank
gonna
you.
live. Thank you, guys. And I
Thanks,
was
Terry.
gonna
Very
say
nice.
one more thing about it. I was gonna one more mention about it. The way that the top has been cut and everything, we can send a pretty big thanks to Matt on that. I did a lot of playing around with his ribbon finials, and that's where I got into the ideas of how I could cut that and stuff. And it was
Cool.
actually just a vase, and then I just drew it out by hand and cut it out. I bought at Harbor Freight, I bought some little saw blades. They're actually saw blades, and they start out at about a 3/4 of an inch and go up to about 2 inches. There's like 5 of them in a package, and they have a mandrel with them. And when I did the ribbon finials, I just had a $10 Harbor Freight Dremel tool, and I even demoed it with it at our club, and it worked out pretty good. But this was a little heavier, so I put the same saw blade mandrel into my Master Carver, which has got a whole lot more power. And actually, I had to be real careful not to burn the blades up. But I just kind of drew it out by hand and then went through there. But to do the ribbon finials and the thin stuff, you can get started really cheap on that. Like I say, I had $20 invested in a motor and the saw blade things, and I'm sure they won't last forever, but they did the job and they did this job, and it helps a lot to do some texturing and some cutting and add a little character to your piece.
Very
And
cool.
that's all I
Thanks,
got.
Terry.
It looks great,
Could you
Terry.
stick
cool.
a link to those little saw blades you found? Because those
Yeah.
sound real useful. It's a tool I don't have.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't have
I
any?
got mine. I got mine on Amazon.
Yeah, the Harbor Freight has them. I think they're $10. And
Okay.
there's 5
All right,
little
I'll go
blades
look.
on them. Huh?
All right. Well, thanks. So next up is we've got Todd Phipps.
Hello. Okay,
Hi,
so I have one piece to show tonight, and it's it's my first attempt at doing any airbrushing on a bowl. So it's a piece of ash. It was about 7 inches, and I went from a black to and these are the carnival colors from Hampshire Shane. Went from
Nice.
black to the Egyptian blue to the Mediterranean blue out on the edge. Put a coat of sanding sealer on it, and then and knocked that back a little bit, and then used embellishing wax to go into that open grain. And then on the front, I did the same. On the front, went from black on the inside to the darker blue, and then to the light blue, and put the embellishing wax on. So little my rim is a little thicker than I meant for it to be that thick, but I had meant to cove that out or whatever a little bit on that rim, and then I don't know, I forgot. So got carried away with the colors. So
Very nice.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
So yeah, that's all I have tonight.
Looks
That's
great.
cool.
Yeah, thank you.
That's great, Todd.
That's all I've got on my list, Dane. So I'm going to send it back to you. And if anybody else has anything to show, please let us know one way or another. But that's up
Spotlight's
to you,
on me.
Dane.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Well, we've had quite the evening tonight. So what everybody think about the embellishing method that Wayne showed using the Arbortech saw blade? That was rather interesting. One unique item about it, like with the Sorby tool, when you put the Sorby texturing tool back on a piece, you're able to pick back up where the initial embellishing took place. Like what Wayne was saying on doing it with the Arbortech there. Each time you touch that blade to the surface, it's going to create a different pattern. I'm curious to see how many people are going to do something like that. I just noticed Scott Hampton popped in, and he just did an IRD last week where he used this exact same method. Let me see if I can find him. Scott, you there? Or are you off eating?
Oh, I'm here. I made it in.
You got your bowl from last week?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Are we, we're unofficial right now, right?
No, we're still official.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Did you find me? Hello.
Oh, don't sing, please
All right,
don't.
Gotcha.
Row your boat.
All right, there you are.
All right. This is the bowl I made last week or last Saturday during a demo.
That's pretty.
Oh, that is nice.
No tenant.
That's awesome.
He went through the same processes.
I got to clean up this area on the back. It kind of looks wonky, but once I get that done, it'll be done. But no tenons on the bottom.
That's some wicked curl in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Piece of black walnut.
Now, what did you use for embellishment?
Well, my Arbortech, which I found, both of them.
He used the same machine as what
I used the Fordham
Wayne
did.
I used the Fordham tool, Fordham mini grinder or carver, however you want to call it.
Same type of machine.
I
I don't know, Scott, did you make it in to see Wayne's demo?
No, I came in late. I missed it, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah. So he did a demo and he did a platter, and he used the same machine as what you did with the saw blade on it, but a different type, had a different teeth set on it.
Okay.
And he did a real spot on pattern. What he did was he took and sealed the wood, and then he went over with black lacquer, and then he did the embellishing on it. So it was a really slick effect.
I have to watch the
Then he airbrushed it with some with a couple different colors on I think it was water-based dyes that he used.
Yeah, I was having computer problems. I think I got them licked now, so that's why I was in late, unfortunately.
No worries. I think it's been affecting many of us all day long today. So
I think the Chinese were messing with our internet today.
I couldn't get my mic to work, and that's why I signed out and signed back in a little while ago, and it seems to be working now. And I had to shut down my entire computer and bring it all back up again, and seems to be running all right now. So
okay, that's good. So on the bottom of your bowl, what did you do? What did you do on the bottom of it? That's not what it looked like on Saturday.
well, actually, it is. It's more pronounced in this light. I need the sand. I just need to power sand some of these little tool marks out of it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't notice that, and I noticed it a little bit on Saturday, but we were already on long enough, and people just don't want to watch you sit there and sand.
Yeah.
So I'll power sand that and clean it all up, make it look nice.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, but there's a lot of curl in the bottom of this too. Look.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty. Yeah.
Tear out, I'll get rid of that. I'll clamp it down and do some power sanding on all this and clean it all up real nice.
Did you turn the hollow off center as well in the bottom of that?
Oh, the foot's off center because this is where I use two different tenons. The first one, it's a center tenon, and I get everything balanced. And that's when I do the texturing using that center tenon.
Right.
And then I'll reverse it. I'll get rid of that center tenon. I always make the blank a little thicker than I wanted, and then I'll have that hole drilled off center. Believe it or not, I only drilled
All right,
that
Eddie.
3/4 of an inch off center, and that's how much off center it came out.
Right.
And I put it on there, and then I'll turn it around, mount it on that off center hole, and then I'll first erase that. Well, I'll put it in the center hole, erase that first tenon, put it in the off center hole. I know it's back and forth. And then I'll create an offset tenon on the bottom. And that's when I do this part. And then I'll jam chuck it right here in the center here, either using a vacuum chuck or just a wooden jam chuck like I did.
I got you.
And then I just erase this tenon off the bottom. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've made quite a few of these. I've got my other one sitting behind me too. Let's see. Where is that one at? There it is. This one's more finished, I would say. I can get the dust off of it. This is my more finished one.
That's pretty.
So this texturing was done with the Arbortech grinder or mini carver.
Okay.
And you can see the difference in the patterns. See how much lighter
the
texturing is on this one compared to that one.
Yeah, that one almost looks like.
This one's a bit. This one is spalted maple.
The one in your right hand, the spalted maple, that the texturing almost looks like caiman skin.
Oh yeah,
like caiman alligator.
Yeah. It's much deeper and the pattern is more pronounced than the one.
That's really cool.
Foreman one, and with the Fordman one, I had to go over it like 3 or 4 times to be able to get deep enough to where it showed up nice. And with this one, it was just one pass with the Arbortech.
I love that texture.
And then this one has, you can see it, the foot's off center because I did it the same way with the two different tenons.
Right. I did mine. I only had one tenon, but I used the duck's chuck.
Ah, okay. But this tenon on the bottom of here, well, I'll clean it up nice and it'll look like this one when I get done. So.
Yep.
This one has been bouncing around for years. I've taken it to a bunch of instant galleries. One time it was in my friend's van, and he lives way up in this canyon, mountain curve roads, and I left it in the back of his van, and you could hear it bouncing around in the back because I accidentally left it in the back. So I had to, when I got it back, I had to clean up some of the scratches and stuff that caused. So yeah, but
if you're tired of hauling that one around, bring it to SWAT with you, and I'll just bring it home.
No. That one stays with me.
All right, very cool. Anybody else have anything to show? How about you, Joaquin? Nobody.
Show something, yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. This is
not him.
No,
that one.
Good. Not. You're better looking than I am. Anyway.
No, you are.
Be embarrassing, huh?
Somebody's messing with us here.
Okay.
Ben Joaquin.
This is hackberry, and say the part of a crotch too, and it's just a wide rim bow, and it figured spalted hackberry. I was going to make a big bowl out of it, and I saw all of this, and no, I better stop right there.
Don't want to cut all of that away. That is beautiful.
This is one time they wouldn't talk to me, and I listened.
It looks great.
Good deal, Joaquin. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, that looks great.
And this is a piece of ash that's probably,
holy cow,
a year old, and it was smooth as glass when I finished it. But all these little branches here that were coming out, they're like blistered and crooked, and
they started growing.
Yeah. As it warped,
you know?
Yeah, they contract. They contracted. That's what, as they dry, they contract. Yeah.
Yes, it did.
It moved.
Uh-huh. And it was pretty. It's prettier now than what it was when I first turned it, I think. But
That's gorgeous. That wasn't a root ball?
no, it was just the half of the tree, but it had all these branches growing out of it. It was at the bottom at the root, and all these sprouts were coming out, and I cut all them off and ended up with
That's
that.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's real uneven now, and it's very attractive for that reason, I think. But that's what I got tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Joaquin.
All right. Hey, Matt, let's go to Heather. She's got something to show.
Yep, absolutely. Whoops.
Hi guys, I finally sat down for break here. Finally had time to sit down for break. So I made a rattle.
Oh, there you
I don't know
go.
if you can hear it or not.
Yeah, you can hear
we can hear
Beside
it.
my mic. Little bit of corn in there. I made the hollowing tool out of an Allen key.
Nice.
Worked out pretty good.
Good.
Came out great. That's beautiful.
That's really good.
Yeah, spalted birch, finished with CA glue.
Hey, let me turn this off.
And here's the bat that I had made. I made this before. I made this one before Ruby did the demo last week. So I learned I learned a little bit on how to make it better next time.
It's gorgeous stuff.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, that came out really nice, Heather.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good, but it's only short, so it's a good, fish bonker, or keep it in my car for protection.
Use it on the patient.
What was that?
Use it on the patients when they get out of hand.
Well, I could use it a few times, yeah, a little bit.
No, well, really, there's a
Use
lot
it on
of
your
detail.
boss.
There's a lot of
Use it on your
detail.
boss when they get out of hand.
Yeah, maybe I could do that. Get less hours. And this one is one that Cade did a while back.
Yeah.
So it's copied that one.
Teardrop.
Teardrop.
That was a wonderful. That was a very enjoyable video.
Yeah, a few little things I should have done different, like I had the pieces on and off the chucks too much, but yeah, it's a little bit of a
It was
little bit of
the
a pop
inside.
fit on it.
It turned out
inside.
beautiful.
Very nice, Heather.
That really
Thank
was.
you.
What kind of wood is
Nicely
it?
done.
Heather, what kind of
That's
wood?
black cherry.
Very
Black
nice.
cherry.
Sorry, I'm holding
nice.
the camera here. Black cherry. Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It has really nice grain in it too. The knots in it are kind of cool.
I think the knots look incredible.
Very pretty.
Just fit beautifully.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I've got.
It was very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Thank you. Thanks. I think the knots look like little owls.
Yeah.
Some of them.
They do. That is what I was thinking.
Those.
Yeah.
Too big. Brenda's not on.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. That's it.
All right.
That's all I have
Thanks,
for now.
Heather.
You're welcome.
Well, that's all we've got. If anybody's got anything else to show, we'd love to
I
see
got
it.
a little story I could come up with if you guys want to put me back up for a minute.
Sure,
Nothing
Terry,
to
we know you
show,
like to
but-
talk.
Yeah, I like to talk. I got a little story. Last weekend we had a learning turn at our club, and it was going along. Joaquin was doing some teaching, and I was just kind of sitting there, and nobody seemed to want to get into too much stuff. So I'm sitting there having a cup of coffee, enjoying myself. One of our members called up, and Joaquin talked to him on the phone, and he says, "Yeah, Terry's sitting right here with a chainsaw. He'll be right over." So anyway, I go over to this where they cut down a stump of a mesquite tree, and it's only about 6 feet long, this stump that they had to dig out of the ground, but it was like 35 inches across.
Wow.
And it was dead for years. I stuck the chainsaw in it, which I had just sharpened, and I think it would have been easier to cut the sidewalk. And anyway, I got it cut into 3 pieces. And to add to the story, as soon as I got there, everybody left. So Joaquin showed up after he broke loose from the meeting and come over to help me. And we got 3 pieces in the back of my truck. 2 of them probably weigh 600 or 700 pounds a piece.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got them at my house, and Joaquin was going to come over one of these days, and we're going to try to make a bunch of blanks out of them. Needless to say, I went and bought some new chains for the saw. We'll see how it works out. It looks like it's going to be really pretty, but it's really hard. I just thought it was kind of a good story to tell, seeing as nobody else was doing a lot of talking. So Joaquin was ashamed to bring it up. So
it's so old, petrified.
Say what?
It's so old, it petrified.
I think so. It is hard. It is really hard. I had just sharpened the saw before I come over in case something happened, and I got a big saw, and I stuck that saw in there, and it didn't want to do much. I got sawdust. But we got it. Now we got to figure out how to cut it up. Joaquin will probably have some of it at SWAT.
Oh.
So we'll see how it goes. But that's all I had to say. I just thought I'd share that story with you.
Does anyone have an update on SWAT?
What's that?
Does anyone have an update on SWAT?
Yes.
I knew you were in, James.
The Ornamental Turners group is going to be there. They're going to be putting on a demonstration somewhere downstairs. So if anybody's ever wanted to watch ornamental turning, it's going to be very interesting.
Do you mean in Oregon?
No, ornamental.
No, ornamental lathe.
Yeah, but where's that being done?
At SWAT in Waco at the end of August.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, the weekend has changed on SWAT. SWAT's going to be starting the 23rd and run through the 25th of August. Because it used to be the last weekend of August, but Baylor's starting to come back in. And so, but if you're going to stay there at a hotel in Waco, you need to get your reservations in now, especially at the Hilton.
I'll make an updated post on that on the Facebook page also.
Yeah. And then also too, I'm running the hands-on pin area again this year. I need volunteers to come in and teach new people how to turn pins.
Have you hit up Kelly, get his daughter to do that?
Not yet.
Brooklyn would be down for it.
Yeah, she was there last year. She enjoyed herself. I'll start going out, sending out in July reminders. Just give me an idea who's going to be there so I can get enough people.
Right.
They've talked about putting the ornamental turners next to us. And that's going to be a problem because everybody wants to watch these ornamental turners. So I want to talk to operations, see if they give them a classroom. That way,
I love ornamental turning, but watching ornamental turning is really kind of like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
Our grass growing.
Yeah, I've never seen a demo on it, so it's going to be interesting. I may have to sneak away. Also, go to the
ornamental 23rd to 25th. Sorry, 23rd to the 25th.
Yeah.
All right, I'm making a post now.
Go to the Ornamental Turnings website. They're going to have a banquet there. I can't remember which night. It's $50 a head, and it's going to be over at Ninfus across the street upstairs. So they're saying get your reservations in early, and they're going to have a banquet. Probably take a lathe over there and talk about it. So that'd be real interesting to go see too. But to go to their website and make reservations. If y'all never eaten an Infus, the food's pretty good. It's Mexican food. And it's pretty good. Margaritas are real good.
Which night was that, James?
Right?
Pardon?
I'm with you on that.
Which night was that?
That's on that second to the last weekend of August.
No, I meant you said they were having going to Memphis.
Oh yeah,
Margaritas. Clint's worried about the margaritas.
Yeah.
No, I was saying which night was it?
I don't remember.
I'll be a spot.
Go to their website, and they're taking reservations to go to that, to their dinner. It's $50 a head. And so it's ought to be very interesting. I'm glad they're putting them next to us downstairs so at least I get to watch it.
Right
on.
But I'll be sending out announcements again probably in July, looking for volunteers to teach the new people. I've got enough blanks, slimline blanks for about 160 pins. So we could be there 24/7 turning pins if it works out that way. And that's all I got on SWAT right now. I appreciate the time.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah, much appreciated. Does anybody have an update on AAW in Portland at the end of the month? Scott, you have any new information?
No, not me. I get some emails talking about the videographer stuff, but that's about all I hear.
Yeah.
Now they're doing the signups for the virtual. If you guys want to watch it, online, they're going to have like 20 demos online that you guys can watch, something like that.
And that's going to be what, $99 for a non-member, and $50 for members.
No, it's 99 for a member.
Well, not right now. It's still on sale, I think, until Friday. They got it cheaper. It's like $70 or something right now. But then after Friday, the price goes up.
Yeah. What's nice about that is that you can still see the videos for several months after AAW is over.
90 days.
90 days?
Yeah, I think it's going to be till the end of August.
Hey, that's not too bad. When it gets too hot to go outside in the summertime, watch a video.
Yeah, got that right. Yeah.
I should remind folks about the website. I don't have a lot because we didn't change a lot over the week because I'm waiting for the newsletter to age just a bit. But I will mention that we added a section on Instagram pages that are club members. We have the YouTube, and we just have membership sites. Also, we have clubs you belong to in your area. If you happen to have never told me anything about your YouTube channel, your Instagram, or your own personal website, please add it to the chat, and I'll add it to the website. Can't add it if I don't know about it.
Dave, a note on the newsletter. SWAT is going to start doing a newsletter, I think, at SWAT, and they're going to run it for a quarterly basis. So, if you've got stuff about worldwide wood hunters you'd like to put into there, there's a guy out of Louisiana that's running it. And if you're interested, I can get you his email address.
That sounds good. Thank you.
All right. I'll get it for you then.
Yeah, that'll work. Then another item of note for the newsletter. So in order to get your picture into the newsletter, we need to have a quality picture at a minimum of 300 DPI. The majority, actually, I think all modern day cell phones and tablets will take a quality photo that can be emailed in. And the photos have got to be emailed. If you take a photo and then post it on Facebook and then download the photo from Facebook and then try to email that in, the compression is decreased on it, and it turns into a what was a 3-inch picture turns into a 1-inch thumbnail, and it can't be exploded because it's all pixelated. It's just not a quality photo. And then if you're emailing photos in, and I know we've had several folks contact us here in the last couple of weeks since JJ and I have been talking about it on the Facebook page. If you're emailing stuff and you're not seeing your photos and you're wondering why they're not in the newsletter, it's not because they're not being selected. It's because we didn't receive the email. So if you're emailing stuff and you're not seeing it, let one of us know so we can see, if it got hung up in junk mail, which right now 100% of the time it is not because it's been hung up in junk mail. It's because it got bounced off from the server for whatever reason. And I know for a few folks, what they'd been doing, they'd been sending their whole library of photos. They've been sending 20, 30 photos at a time. And those emails haven't even been making it out of their inbox, even though it says sent on their end. Their server is just denying it because the file size is too big. So only send 1 or 2 at a time. And if you got multiple views of an item, go into your phone settings and you can select multiple photos and do a collage, and you can get everything into one quality photo that we can put into the newsletter. And then you can also, at the same time do multiple collages and be able to get those in. We're also still looking for articles for the newsletter. We've got a spot on the webpage where the current issue of the newsletter article gets highlighted on the webpage on the very top front of the webpage. So if you've got a how-to on how to do something, project, regardless of how simple you may think it is, there's going to be others out there that's never thought of it. And it doesn't take much, some simple step-by-step instructions. You don't have to go full descriptive verbiage, just quick and to the point on describing what you're doing. A couple photos of different processes throughout the steps. Joaquin's done one on an off-center chucking jig. Paul Howard, I think is the name. Duxbury has put one in. I've put one in. JJ's put one in. Seems like there's a few 3 or 4 others that have put in an article. But we're always looking for an article. For a how-to on how to do something, whether it's mechanical or whether it's project related. Even down, like I said, down to the simplest thing. It could just be 5 steps. Those 5 steps could be, preventing somebody from, ruining a piece and throwing it away and giving up on the project. So, keep that in mind. Next newsletter will be coming out next week.
Dane, I got a quick question about the articles. What kind of file does it need to be under? Is it a PDF? Do you need it as a Word file?
Word file, because it's got to be copied and pasted into the software that Joaquin mentioned.
I sent him a PDF and he was able to copy and paste that also, but he needed the graphics sent separately so he could add them.
Okay.
So if you can do a Word file, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, it is.
Word file. And it worked out good. Yeah.
I've got a couple I could send in.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I think me and you talked about it a while back, Scott. So there is no length criteria. If you need 5 pages on how to do something or to write out something and show the processes throughout it, you can do that because we've got no limits on our newsletter length. We're the ones that are in control of what that newsletter is going to be.
So I got a handout on how to make that bowl. I just showed a little while ago.
Right.
I'd love to see it, Scott.
I'll send that.
And I'd like to mention it doesn't have to be 5 pages either. Recently, the Arizona Woodturners asked if they could use one of our articles, and it was just on how to make shellac. So if you've got something really simple, that works too.
What I'm saying, it's a no-brainer. It's it's simple, and then it's not that it's filler, but it's good information because not everybody knows what we know. We all have a specific set of knowledge set, and we all learn from each other. It's one of the things about this club is we're trying to share and demystify wood turning in all aspects with regards to wood turning. And the best way to do it is, aside from our meetings and our social media, put it in newsprint that we can share at our local clubs, or like Captain Eddie says, he takes it to his doctor's waiting rooms and then puts out, for other patients to have something to read while they're sitting in there waiting to be seen. So it's good all the way around.
Very
Scott
cool.
talking about doing an article with that offset bowl. 2 or 3 different people could do the same, could do an article on that. Those 2 or 3 people going to do it differently.
Yep.
Exactly.
Bob, Birdhouse Bob, he did, with his PVC pipe with the floating offset. He did a demo on that, 2.5 years ago. Well, I haven't yet to see anybody else do have a chucking holding point free floating like what Bob demonstrated. And then like I say, we got the various iterations of the Dux chucks. We're all going crazy on them. What you got, Al?
No, I'm just saying, everything has been so amazing every Wednesday night. I mean, it's just amazing. Just nothing but inspiration.
Well, that's what we're trying to do,
Tonight was like out of this world. Last week was out of this world. The week before that, the same and the same. This is so good and so great.
It's just been one iteration after another. One iteration after another,
And on that note, we got Howard, who's got some stuff to show.
Outstanding.
Roll
Tide, Howard.
Roll Tide. Can you hear me now? Hey, Dane,
Yes,
congratulations on your anniversary.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Looks like you had the best deal of the situation.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too.
Ain't that the truth?
I always feel good when I'm walking down the street with her.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. Update on that on the bear.
And she was sober too.
It wasn't one of those Las Vegas quick, hey, let's get married drunk on your
no.
Update on that bear we had around here on Facebook. They've been posting picture. It went back over Chigga Ridge over to Bug Tussle. So it's hanging around Bug Tussle right now. So my wife, she finally came out of the closet. And so she feel good. I don't know if I showed this or not. This is a piece of mahogany. And have I shown this before? I don't remember. But anyway.
I don't remember it.
But anyway, I had this was a piece of like 3.5 inch piece of mahogany that I split. I split it in half and I turned another piece from it, and I left it thick on this one here. And I was going to pierce all this inside. The inside part, you see it's recessed, is about a little less than 1/4 inch. So I was going to Pierce all
Damn.
this, but I got so tired I decided I'd just burn it. There's some stapling on it. But anyway, another reason I didn't pierce it is called this is a beautiful piece of wood. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of wood. And I got to think, man, I don't want to mess up that beautiful grain.
Put an arm strap on it and you got a Roman shield.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My wife says that I look better like this.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I got.
It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Very beautiful. One other item about the articles. If you write an article, do me a favor personally. I'm sorry, I'm pretty silly sometimes. And someone wrote an article and they said, and used DNA. And I had to think about it 2 or 3 times before I realized it was denatured alcohol. So at least one place in the article, if you're going to use an acronym, mention what it is. Otherwise, I'm going to start using my DNA for things, and it's not going to make sense.
I think that was me.
Yeah.
I think I meant.
I don't know, but I thought it was clever. I thought it was clever. I had to really think about
DNA. Yeah. Everybody should know what DNA is, or at least what both of them are. At least in the wood turning community.
Yep.
At least here, DNA is denatured alcohol.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not
the helix ladder.
Well, I didn't really mean to put anybody on the spot. It's just that one came to mind immediately. I knew what it was when I saw it, but I've seen it a couple of times where we use the short for it, and I had to think about it. What was that? Oh, that's what it is. So if I put it in the article, everybody knows what it is. When I say I'm not the only one here. I simply mean when I'm putting it on the website. I know they're going into the newsletter too.
What are you talking about?
I've got a little information to share also.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
I went to Staples to buy some more Avery labels to make some more business cards.
Yeah.
A friend of mine that works in the business office said, Gary, you do know that we'll print those cheaper than you can buy the Avery labels and print them yourself. So I priced them and I wound up paying $12.07 for 250 business cards printed.
Oh my God.
With worldwide wood turner cards.
Huh.
They're only 14. They did have them 20. They did have a coupon on it this time, but they weren't but $14.99 full price at Staples for 250 cards.
But you're on the other side of Mississippi. Everything's cheaper on that side of the river.
I don't know about that.
Well, we can't help you guys that live in another world over there, you know.
I might
three times
double
that
check you
cost
last
over
time I
there.
ordered from Vistaprint. It was pretty cheap.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of those places.
See, the Mississippi's there to keep you
Good
back
info
over here.
I would like to ask that we made we had the thing where the Avery label, you could do it, print it off our webpage, but it'd be nice if we had the actual, a little bit better quality image that we could transfer. Because by the time they opened that up and moved it again, it's a little bit fuzzy, but it's still great. It's great.
Yeah, because they're just gonna print what's in the file. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
But good info.